Okay, so this is the Q&A of the cast for the filming. Here we have the new white/black swan, because our last one wasn't able to make it to the second filming, so we had to start again. And we have Connor still playing the pig mask. So, Niall?
Yeah. It's like, okay, it appears like obviously it's a sort of couple in the chase scene. How do you think you sort of played that to your advantage? Like, in terms of the masks, how do you think it affected the character's role?
I don't know, it made you see like the ugly side of everything, in a sense.
Okay.
Yeah. Yeah, that's cool. I agree with that.
Okay. In terms of like the sort of editing, the sort of camera shots that I used, what are your opinions on that?
How did you feel about like all of the retakes and having to redo shots and everything?
And then the sort of close-ups, what do you feel about the sort of close-ups and what they use for?
It's good, it's kind of like a really dark, sinister movie, but that's the feeling throughout the whole movie. But obviously when you get to the end you kind of just see it's actually sort of a love story at the same time. It's kind of like, not necessarily Romeo and Juliet, but the whole aspect behind it.
More Sid and Nancy.
No, obviously the aspect behind it where you have the good and the bad. It's all bad, but when like you really look back at it, you can see the good parts of it.
Yeah, I think the angles and the way the shots were taken were like really effective, because it really represented like a classic horror film, if you know what I mean. Like they took shots like that, so it was a good representation.
Okay, so that's something I wanted to point out. The very last sort of scene with you guys in it, which sort of brings back to the start the love story and everything. What do you think? How does it affect it when he takes off his mask and puts back on yours? You know, how did you feel when you realised that was part of the filming?
That was interesting because it was a whole different turn on it. Yeah, you could definitely see the love story side to it, in the sense that it felt like he almost kind of cared, but he didn't, if you know what I mean, because he wasn't really doing good things.
Also, okay, so Connor, how did you feel about not actually featuring, your face not featuring in the film at all?
Well, I think it's very unfair. I mean, I'm a gorgeous young, I'm like a young chiseled George Clooney, but I think it was really unfair. It's good in the sense that you only see the pig mask, but then obviously when it's taken off you see that he's not who you thought he was. You still don't know who he is, but you know he's not that horrible person that you originally thought.
And Yana, what about you, about the whole change? What did you think about the whole changing of the mask? Because you're actually the only character through the thing where you actually see any of her face.
Yeah.
So, what did you think of that? What did you think of going from the white mask to no mask, and then the symbolism of the black mask?
I thought it was a good mark in the moment because it showed kind of that transition, and not only that, it was like a willingness. I kind of felt like I was willing to change, and it kind of showed, I guess, a connection with him. So it was, unfortunately. So yeah, it was kind of an important moment. I felt interested. I felt kind of attached to it. It was good.
Okay, Niall?
Okay, last question from me is, with your whole mask changing thing, it's to do with society and sort of corruption. Do you think the colours related to it, or do you think different colour schemes, like you wore a black dress, do you think you should have worn different coloured dresses or different coloured sort of like clothing?
Anything like you would have thought might have made it a bit better, or what you liked about it?
Yeah, maybe just have had something else that was white to cover me up, or something on kind of the first
at the beginning,
bit. Yeah, and then like maybe a whole costume change to each one. But I think it was more representative, like obviously of society and stuff. So I don't know. I kind of like the black thing with the white, and I don't really know exactly why, but it just stood out a bit better. It kind of showed that it was more focused out of her eyes, and like and stuff.
Okay, last question I guess would be how do you think it relates to the actual idea and themes of music videos? Because obviously it's quite a filmatic kind of thing, but it is a music video. Obviously, it's no lyrics. We've just got a bit of a
That's
script.
the whole point of it. You don't need lyrics. There's no words spoken in the film. You kind of just pick up what it is. You don't need. I mean, the best movies, the original movies that were made were like soundless. You had no sound. I don't know. You get more into it. You think about it more.
It reminds you of like the 1920s silent movies, with like actresses like Clara Bow
She's still in
and
my
stuff.
idea.
And sorry.
Go on.
And like she played her characters really interestingly because she kind of used it was more about her clothing and it was more about kind of the image she was going for when she was playing those characters. And you, like you said, you don't need words.
So you think that works really well with the idea of no lyrics or anything?
Yeah, because you're going with that thing of you don't need words to explain what's happening.
Yeah, it's same with our dancing. You don't need words to show like compassion.
Oh yeah, this is like, it's kind of, well, the track is sort of like a slow I don't know, you'd say it like a dance track.
Yeah, I mean, to be fair, like dance is always associated with drugs now, and even then with drugs, everything, like your emotions are just like blown way out of proportion. I mean, everything's just loving, but then you have a come down, and it's just like that really horribly depressing stage is kind of the same, in the sense that you have like the really bad, but when it's good, it's great. Yeah, it's good.
No, that was
Okay, well, that was Connor and Yana. So.
Just want to say, I'm the beautiful one in the pig mask. I just want to put that out there, yeah?
Of course
So,
you are.
yeah.
You can-
Connor Caprini Fielder, if you want to roll me, I'm willing.
For 99 cents.
Can't sell me
Okay.
anything.
Free person packaging.
Thanks, guys.